religious liberty around the world, particularly with respect to Jews and Christians, persecution in Muslim countries, and also here in this country. And I found a target-rich environment for religious persecution in this country on college campuses all over this country. And that is the real tragedy of it. And not just anti-Semitism, but any religion, of course, except Islam. Okay, that's the sort of protected class, if you will, on college campuses. Worked with David Horowitz quite a bit, as you can imagine. On that subject, on the issue of Sharia, Sharia, again, I'm a very strong religious liberties proponent, and Muslims have a right to practice in this country. But here's the thing that we need to just keep in mind: Islam, unlike Christianity, is both a political as well as a religious doctrine.
Right.
Okay? It is one and the same. And it really goes back to the founders of the two faiths. The founders of Christianity, Jesus Christ, said very clearly he was not here to rule the world. His kingdom was, right, that's where the kingdom is, not here. And he did not go out and conquer lands and rule armies and set up civil governments. When asked the question whether we should pay taxes, he said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar and God's what is God. And in that respect, not as the left understands this term, but there is a separation of church and state. And the interesting separation is that the state, Pope Gelasius called it the two swords doctrine. There is the civil law and the sacred law. As I talked about before, God gives us rights and he gives us a moral code by which to live, the Mosaic Code. Dennis Prager wrote a brilliant article about 2-3 weeks ago on this. If you haven't, go Google it. You all should read it, memorize it. It's absolutely right on. And so that Mosaic Code, that higher law, is in fact a higher law that the civil law must comport with. And when it doesn't, guess what happens? You will always have friction in our society. That's why abortion will never go away as an issue, because the civil law is not in concert with the higher law. And as long as that's the case, we will not have peace on this issue. So Sharia, unfortunately, they're the same. Islam, Muhammad ruled, conquered, ran armies, killed people, and in fact set up governments and a civil code, which also happens to be the religious code. That's why the radical Islamic countries, like Saudi Arabia, do not have a legislature that passes laws. Why? Because they don't need one. They don't need any other laws. The Sharia law is complete. It is from God. It is perfect. It is complete. We need no other. And so this is why you see people very legitimately concerned about the imposition of Sharia law as a carve-out, sort of a balkanization, a little carve-out, whether it's in Dearborn or whether it's in Denmark. You cannot have a separate area of this country that is not covered by the American civil law, and that's why Sharia is incompatible with American constitutional jurisprudence.
We're going to take 3 more questions.
Yes, Randy said it.
And then we're calling it a night.
It's up to you, man.
Senator, honored to see you again.
Thank you.
Quick question. I'm a little bit more optimistic about winning California. Simply enough, we have the 45 outer counties, we have San Diego. Any statewide candidate just needs LA to win. Can you, when you're on stage and speak to the other presidential candidates as well, if they're willing to invest in LA, they can get the 55 electoral votes. Are you willing to make the investment in the organizations we have here in Los Angeles, from our plaque to the West Side Republicans to the San Fernando Club, to invest money here to win?
I'm just trying to invest in Iowa right now. I mean, let me assure you, every dollar you give me is going to go into Iowa. I'm being honest. Want me to tell you the truth? I'll tell you the truth. That's where I am.
There are 10 million people in Los Angeles.
All right, this gentleman right here.
Hi, Senator. My name is Bob, and I'm from the Ventura County area. First of all, I want to take my hat off to you in regards to taking a stance on jobs. My personal opinion and my friends in the Ventura County area, jobs is going to be number one. All the rest of this will all fall in place as long as we get people back to work. We all want to compliment you that you were one of the first to come out with a doable plan on getting people back to work.
Thank you.
So I wish you the very best tomorrow night. I live below where you're going to be. I'm going to be looking up at you. So,
I thought you lived in the basement of the Reagan Library. Things are tough if they're having to rent out the space of the library.
So we're really counting on you tomorrow night. Hopefully you will focus more and push the issues of jobs. We have too many friends that are out there.
Thank you, Bob. David?
Thank you, Senator. Clearly from what you shared with us tonight, the success of our country is those Judeo-Christian values. And clearly the attack from the left is against those values. This particular organization, and in the county of Los Angeles in 2004, when the ACLU attacked the cross on the LA County seal, there were individuals in this room that contributed thousands of hours in collecting signatures to put it on the ballot. We weren't successful in doing that. However, what we were successful in doing in 2006, when the PIRA bill was introduced in the House of Representatives in Washington and was passed, it was the Los Angeles County flag that was put on display for those congressmen. Unfortunately, when it went to the Senate and Arlen Specter killed it, it was dead. Now, here we are again with the possibility of taking control of the Senate. Don't take California for granted. There's not all fruits and nuts. The reality is there are a lot of people here that are dedicated to those values that you addressed tonight, and we're not only dedicated, we're willing to fight for them regardless of the odds. So,
Well, I can tell you that personally, I have to thank the people of California for standing up and standing for marriage. That was a great. I know that was a tough thing. If you want an issue that's going to both impact and destroy the foundation of our society, which is the American family, and destroy freedom of religion, that is the issue. It will do both. And that's why the left is so passionate about getting it done. Remember, this is the left sees America as where Europe is going right now. That's their objective. And I always remind people, I talked about the Declaration of Independence, I talked about the Constitution. You got to remember this. There was another revolution roughly the same time as the American Revolution. It was the French Revolution. Go read the French Constitution. It's not that different than the American Constitution. What was different about the French Revolution? It wasn't a God-based revolution. It was liberty and fraternity, but no fatherhood of the brotherhood. There was no moral code by which the French had to operate once the people who got in power under that Constitution. So I always tell, again, don't invest too much in the Constitution as all we need to worry about is the Constitution. We don't. We have to worry about who we are. Why do some democracies don't work in other countries around the world? Why do republics not work? Because they do not have the value structure in place in civil society to be able to sustain it. And that's why, with all due respect to this gentleman, it's not okay if everybody gets a job. That's not the end of it.